It gives me great pleasure to introduce our honorary degree recipient, Tess Jaray, to whom we award an honorary doctorate. Tess Jaray is an artist and educator whose work is held in world-renowned institutions, including the Tate and the Victoria and Albert Museum. Her decade-spanning career has established her as one of the leading contemporary British painters and printmakers. Born in Vienna, Austria, Tess and her family moved to England in 1938 as Jewish refugees fleeing occupation. Tess recalls, "As a young artist, it never occurred to me that I would have a career. It was wartime when I was a small child, and there was no television or the computer world that exists now, so I would draw. I drew what I saw around me. I drew fields, trees, hills, and hedges, and I just never stopped." She graduated from Central St. Martin's and the Slade School of Art. In 1964, she began teaching at Hornsey College of Art before becoming the first female tutor at the Slade in 1968, where she taught for 3 decades until becoming Reader Emeritus in 1999. When asked if there was a particular milestone that had launched her career, Tess replies, "I feel like I'm still waiting for this." Her creative practice is characterized by the use of architectural forms and repetition and spans painting, drawing, and printmaking. She has had numerous solo exhibitions at esteemed institutions, including the Serpentine, the Ashmolean Museum, and most recently, the Millennium Gallery in Sheffield. Her work is included in major public collections such as the Tate, the V&A, and the Centre Pompidou in Paris. She reflects, "I have been working as an artist for 70 years, and I still have only questions about the importance of art or the lack of it, about its meaning in the world, and trying to understand what it is that I have been doing all these years and where I can go from here. The world of art," she says, "seems to me like an expanding universe. The closer you get to one planet, the more another looms into sight." Tess's work, which explores our relationship with space and scale, extends beyond gallery walls into large-scale public commissions. Notable examples include the tiled terrazzo floor at Victoria Station and the tapestry building installation at Granary Square. In recognition of her contributions, she was made an honorary fellow of the Royal Institute of British Architects in 1995. She is also widely known for her writing and has published several books, including a collection of essays titled Painting, Mysteries and Confessions. In 2010, she was elected a Royal Academician by the Royal Academy of the Arts and was made a Senior Royal Academician in 2013. Tess says her proudest moment of her career was finishing a painting I wasn't deeply ashamed of. Her advice to graduates is, "Don't even begin to think of having a career as an artist unless you can't tolerate the thought of doing anything else. If you are prepared to face a life without fame or fortune, but know that your real pleasure and satisfaction comes from just making the work itself, then there is a chance you can have a full and rich life." I am delighted to ask the Chancellor to confer the Honorary Doctorate of the University of the Arts, London, on Tess Jaray RA. Tess has recorded a video for us, which we'll now play.
Thank you so much. Not only is it a very great honor, but the fact it comes from the University of the Arts, which is something I couldn't have dreamt of as an art student all those years ago, makes it a particularly wonderful occasion for me. My time at St. Martin's gave me a direction that occupied me the rest of my life. As a student in the 50s, we took art very seriously. We believed that it was the noblest way of life you could choose. We were ambitious, but for our work, not for careers. Very few students even imagined they would have careers. Certainly not in the way that is understood now. In his address to new students, one of my tutors told us we would be wise to leave immediately and get proper jobs as bus conductors or seamstresses. However, many of my generation have spent their lives as artists, and a number of them successfully. We were all very important to each other and didn't take much notice of our tutors. Tutorials were held 3 times a term, lasted for about 20 minutes, and only later became so-called deep structured conversations. Never again would our work get so much attention. In the end, you don't really come up with any answers. All you have are questions, but the questions go on, and that is, I think, what is so interesting for me anyhow. Whether you're faced with a canvas, a sculpture, a computer, or an idea, it is always the idea of what happens if I do this next, and you never know until you do it. If you are looking for an older artist to tell you what to do, who will help you see into the future as to what it means to be an artist, I can't help you there. This is a mystery that goes on all one's life. Thank you.